Can you give her a minute? Can you give her a minute to unclench her jaw? There are invisible emotional burdens she carries without ceremony, without applause, without anyone noticing the way her shoulders rise before she even knows she's bracing. Can you give her a dignity pause to unclench her jaw? Then there's the unseen identity load, stitched into her sense of self long before she knew she could unthread it. There is emotional load bearing, like a beam in a skyscraper, quiet, steady, load absorbing, holding the weight of everyone's storms with the strength of steel and the tenderness of skin. Can you give her a minute? There's the unspoken emotional load, the peace she manufactures so others can breathe easier. There's the overlooked work of holding everything together, the invisible stitching that keeps the world from unraveling. Can you give her a dignity pause to unclench her jaw? There is cognitive overcarry, the unseen mental management system, the background brain work, invisible cognitive labor, the mind that never gets to rest because everyone else rests on her. Can you give her a minute? There's the gendered expectation load, the cultural weight of care, inherited responsibility scripts, the socialized burden of being the responsible one, the default caregiver load, roles that she never auditioned for but somehow became the star of. Can you give her a minute? There's decision-making fatigue, energetic overcarry, the body-held burden, invisible energetic labor, the somatic cost of care, the weight you feel but no one sees, the ache that arrives long before she admits that she's tired. Can you give her a second to unclench her jaw? There is uncompensated leadership labor, shadow leadership work, the hidden leadership load, the unnamed managerial role, the emotional CEO syndrome, the quiet steering of a ship while others believe that it's sailing by itself. Would you give her a dignity pause? There's the burden behind the smile, the truth tucked behind her teeth when she says, "I'm fine." There's the work no one notices until she stops. The moment the world wobbles and finally asks, "Oh, wait, were you holding all of that?" Oh, can you give her a minute? And still, some will undermine her, scorn her, walk out on her, leave her carrying the weight they never even acknowledged and never intended to share in. But hear this clearly, she is not a victim. She is not fragile. She is simply a woman who has been carrying more than anyone ever named, more than anyone ever thanked her for, more than anyone ever realized, until she finally had enough. And all she needs before the next load, before the next ask, before the next invisible assignment is a breath. One breath that belongs only to her. One breath that reminds her that she is allowed to rest. One breath that whispers the truth that she was never meant to carry the world alone. Can you pause to give her a dignity minute to unclench her jaw? Will you give her a minute?